welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Vintage. I have a Dealer's Choice League from an anonymous patron who just wanted to support the channel, and I'm going to use it to showcase this deck and do some of my own playtesting. As we know, if we've been paying attention to my promoted stuff, the NYSE Vintage Tournament is coming up in June. That tournament has Power 9 prizes for the full top 8. And then later in the summer, in August, there is the Steel City Spectacular run by Excalibur Events, where they also have a Vintage tournament where first prize gets a Black Lotus. It's a very exciting summer to be a paper Vintage gamer. Lots of big stuff on the line, and this deck excites me a lot. This is the Lurrus Paradoxical Outcome list with the Wizards sub-theme. We got Thundertrap Trainer and Snapcaster Mage to turn on Flame of Anor. All of this allows Lurrus to still be the companion, and we have the busted full send Paradoxical Outcome plus stock up, very easy to turn Moxen into cards engine at the core here as well. And the deck, if you are against a matchup where it doesn't make sense to try to combo, you can pivot into Jeskai control. We've got 3 Pyroblast, 2 Plows, 4 Portable Holes, 2 Force Negations. You can just kind of cut all your POs and some of your Mox Opals and stuff and become Jeskai Lurrus control. I just realized the whole deck was not on the screen. Oh no. Welcome to Vintage problems. Okay, here we go. There they are. I realized half my lands were missing. There's a bit of a story with this deck too. At the time I'm recording this, which is several weeks before you'll see it, but there were 3 Vintage challenges last weekend. And all 3 of them were won by the same player, Magic Online user Unlucky Monkey, using this deck. 3 shots, 3 kills. Incredible conversion rate, incredible win rate. I have played this deck one time before on the channel, and I also 5-0'd with it. There's something here, something in the sauce. This deck does a lot of the things that I want to do in a Magic deck, which is see cards and have the opportunity to outplay or skill diff my opponents, make a lot of small decisions. It also has Force of Will in it, so I have a chance versus powerful stuff. That's if my opponent wins the die roll, and I have a busted combo of my own. I think match 1, game 1, the last league I played with this, my opponent was on Dredge, kept 7, Bazaard, put 2 hollow ones into play, and then died. Like, I just went to my turn and killed them on turn 1. Having that combo button is something I like in Vintage. Having the option to make many small decisions is something I like in Vintage. And the full pivot out of the sideboard is very cool. That's my preamble. Let's go play this thing. This is Jeskai Lurrus PO. I'm on the draw in round 1. We have a Lurrus battle here. Double forest, double blue card. Not really a plan of my own, particularly. If they are Lurrus control, this hand is garbage. If they're Lurrus combo, this hand is fine. I think I'm going to mulligan it regardless. Okay, this one at least has enough lands that I don't just fold to a wasteland, though it does have some of the same problems, including having Meticulous Archive in it. Jet, Pearl. If they are Esper Lurrus control, they certainly have all of their power in their opening hand. I am not going to worry about that right now. I have ways to deal with it. Black Lotus. Let's see if they send a Time Twister over the top here. Did they have it all? Literally it all. Skull Clamp. Fascinating. Well, that card I don't want to play against. That's a step too far. Nile Spellbomb, fine, and they can boop that for a card. Okay. This does look like just Dimir Lurrus control, and it looks like they had all 3 pieces of fast mana that their deck plays in their opening hand. That's fine. Let's hope they're out of gas. Thundertrap Trainer, perfect card for this board. It's a 1/2, which means it bricks the Bowmasters. It gets card advantage without drawing cards, bridges the gap into my stock up, which is phase 2. Oh my god, do they have the Time Twister? Oh, they're just grabbing Lurrus. That's fine. Lurrus will convert into Skull Clamp eventually. Thundertrap Trainer finding a Force of Will would be nice here. Time Walk, Demonic Tutor, Bauble. Demonic Tutor can get my main deck Swords to Plowshares. I have a couple of those in here. If I can clear Lurrus, before I'm heckin' dead. That's nice. What does Time Walk do? Mana Crypt lets me stock up really aggressively. I'm not taking Bauble. I'm not taking Time Walk. It's Tutor or it's Crypt for me. If they have a land that can immediately play Skull Clamp, I'm going to be behind even if I clear the Lurrus. The Lurrus is about to be everything, though. Okay, I am going to take Demonic Tutor. That was a really tough choice. Just good deck building when your Thundertrap trainer hits all 4 options. Voice of Victory. Heckin' A. Okay, so if I DT for Swords to Plowshares, I have Snapcaster that can Snap Plow, Underground Sea, Ruby, Demonic Tutor, any kind of Spell Pierce kind of thing is going to beat me here. Just going to have to live with that. And I can't cast spells on my opponent's turn, so I'm going to obliterate this Voice of Victory. Ooh, Force Pitching Lorien revealed. Okay, so they're all in on Lurrus. And they are pushing damage now, because the Voice of Victory can attack for 2 every turn. But if they think that was the volley, Lurrus is something I can still answer. Alright, well, I am going to block one of these warriors. If they have another Bowmaster off the top that clears the trainer, whatever. A Johnny, alright. They are a big-time creature deck, but their shields are down. Interesting. Flame of Anor would be great. Snap Plow could clear Voice of Victory, or a Johnny here. I think I need to stock up. The coast is currently clear. Soul Ring, Time Walk, another stock up, Merchant Scroll. I think I want Soul Ring and another stock up. This clears the runway for me to Snap Plow the Bowmaster and then maybe go off with PO. There's Lurrus. I hope they don't play Nile Spellbomb. Skull Clamp, okay. They are currently all in. I take some amount of damage here, and then I have to figure out what's going on. I'm at 8. And can I go off right now? Ancestral Recall is a nice start. So Snapcaster, Swords to Plowshares leaves me without a lot of extra juice, but so if I Snap Plow and then cast Ancestral, we can see what's going on. Okay, blue, 1/2, Snapcaster, target Plow, Plow the Bowmaster. Is Ancestral better than Stock Up? I can have 2 colorless floating. Yeah, I'm going to Ancestral. Opal. All right, so I can Flame of Anor here, killing Lurrus and Skullclamp. Lurrus is a cat, which means that'll flip a Johnny if it dies. That's messed up. Do I lose to that? I think I do. So that they attack for... They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creatures still left after that. 6 zap me. But they do have to go into combat. I can block 2 of their things. It's not good. I don't think I'm ever winning a game where Skullclamp's in play. A Johnny flips if I kill a Johnny, and a Johnny flips if I kill Lurrus. Should I draw 2 cards instead of going after Skullclamp? That seems like a mistake. I just need to survive the turn. All right, dig in, do the math. Let's figure this out. They're attacking for 7. I can block 1, 2, 3 of it. So I take 4. All right, this isn't a creature. They're attacking for 6. Yeah, they're attacking for 6. I can block 3 of it. I go to 5. And then they'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures in play. I'm at 1. Is that right? Is that real? I think that's as good as it's going to get. All right, here we go. Deal 5 to something, destroy an artifact. And I can't do this in combat or on their turn because of the Voice of Victory. Destroy Skullclamp, 5 to Lurrus. And they need to draw a creature or a removal spell here. Okay, pass. This is it. Fingers crossed. I either untap with a pretty good PO or I die right now. Okay, here's the bash. So it might actually be worth more to me. I was doing the math as if I was going to block the Cat Warrior, but if I take 4 and then a Johnny doesn't deal damage, that's actually better. Yeah, I end up at 4 instead of at 1 because they don't have any red permanents. Okay, this is how I'm doing this. That actually wasn't as bad as I had calculated. All right, they make it 2-1, but it doesn't deal to any extra damage. And we go to my turn. Mox Opal. That lets me stock up before I PO. Do I want to do that? PO currently pays for itself. Yeah, I'm going to go for it. Stock up. Vexing Bauble, another outcome, and Pearl. Okay, I was looking for Pearl. They can't pitch cast Force. They also can't hard cast Force. So I'm not messing with that. I'm going to take Pearl and PO and simply hope they didn't draw Orcish Bowmaster for their turn. But they would have won if they had Orcish Bowmaster. If they had done the combat math and just pinged Snapcaster pre-combat, the game would have ended. So off it. Cool. I'm just going to send it, and whatever happens, happens. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it has resolved. I drew Tolarian Academy. I still have my land drop available. And here come all the mocks in. I think we're going to win this game. Found Mana Vault as well. We're going Buck Wild, which is the best kind of wild to go, if you ask me. All right, I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana right now. It costs 6 to kick Thundertrap Trainer. Do I need to do that? I'm definitely going to replay it, but I don't think I need to kick it. A Force of Will and Mox Emerald. I'll take... They don't have counter magic. I'm going to take Mox Emerald. They would have countered me by now if they had that. PO for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Give me those. Yeah, all right. Just gotta do the math sometimes. Okay, we're against some sort of hyper-aggressive Lurrus creature deck. Portable Hole and Swords to Plowshares seem great here. Soul Guide Lantern always relevant, potentially, versus a Lurrus strategy. Okay, I'm probably gonna back off of my combo button a little bit to make room for the control button. Flame of Anor, MVP. Also, those reps playing Modern helped me out here. What percent of Vintage players do you think would have lost that game? I'm not, just stroking myself here, but actually figuring, understanding all of the pieces, this standard legal card makes red tokens, which turns on this Modern staple Planeswalker's secondary flavor text ability. I don't know, there was a lot to track there. I think folks who were less dialed in on every format of Magic would not have succeeded there. Okay, I got to make one more cut. Lingus seems really good. I could cut another PO, but I do want to be able to jam when the coast is clear. Mental Misstep. I mean, they're going to have Ancestral Recall in their deck at minimum. I think I'm going to shave another Bauble. With an Opal out, you don't need as many Baubles. And if they hit me with something like Vexing Bauble or Null Rod, my deck just got better. All right, I have 2 copies of my favorite card in the deck, which is Flame of Anor. I'm going to keep. Opponent went to 6. Moxjet. Cycling Lorien for Tundra. And passing with the Tundra. Flooded Strand. Okay, I think I'm just going to play Flooded Strand, and I will play out Ruby, because they might have Lavinia. Let's get that Ruby invested. If they have Null Rod, it doesn't matter when I cast it. All right. The Garbage Time Walk. Okay, they found the land on the second turn, but they had to flush out their Time Walk to find that land. That's a pretty good deal for me. Lavinia. Well, it's now or never. And I could also just flame her, but that's 2 turns away because of the land count thing. All right, I'm going to force pitching. I'm actually going to pitch Brainstorm because I value Flame of Anor so highly here. If they force me back, they have 1 card in hand. Whatever. And if they don't force me back, Flame on. Meticulous Archive. Merchant Scroll. That one's good. Do we like casting Ancestral Recall in this country? All right, Merchant Scroll. Grab Ancestral Recall, fire it at my own face. They could misstep me here, but that's still a card that they had to spend. Cool. All right. Card is spent, and I am up into Flame of Anor range, even if they have another Lavinia. Dig through time. All right. That's like the card that I play 4 copies of, except much harder to cast. Land Ancestral. All right. They are ahead of me on cards. Drawing a land, not really what I was hoping for. I think I will bank the Lurrus here. If they have Thoughtseize in their deck, they can steal my Lurrus, I guess. But I'm not spending that mana otherwise. Null Rod, okay. I can answer that. Strip Mine. I'm good on lands. Basically nothing but over here. A Bauble. Okay, that makes Lurrus good, and it gives me a reason to use this Flame of Anor. I think I want to operate in their end step. Oh, This is worse. Okay. Well, there's a Bowmaster. I guess I'm just going to cook Bowmaster then. Volcanic Island. And I think I want more Tundras than Volks. All right, I'm going to kill Bowmaster right now. I only get one mode here because I don't have a wizard. Opponent got their Lurrus now. Thundertrap Trainer, let's go. That's the guy. Turns on this other flame in my hand. We need a 2-for-1 pretty bad here. And we're about to string multiples together. Oh, grabbing this Force of Will might convince them to slow roll their Lurrus, which gives me time to flame Conqueso. Black Lotus, that doesn't work. A second Null Rod, okay. Well, I will no longer be targeting Null Rod with my Flame of Anor. Soul Ring. That's a stinker. I do have a better attack than them, but I'm not winning the damage race, and my wizard's worth a lot right now, so I'm just going to pass. Okay, fetch. Okay, there's Lurrus. I'm not going to force Lurrus, but I am going to respond to Orcish Bowmaster by doing a Flame Conqueso. Deal 5 to something, draw 2. I draw 2, you take 5. If they have Force Blue card as the last cards in hand, that's pretty good. And they did. All right. But they are Hellbent. Interesting. All right. I mean, y'all chump block. You know I have Lurrus. Getting that thing in the graveyard is actually good for me. Okay. My Lurrus is now invested. And I have Force Blue card again. One interaction too late, but still, it's not bad. They should attack with Bowmaster here. They have nothing to recur with Lurrus anyway. And I can't block it because they just replay it and my Lurrus dies. Demonic Tutor, I can't use that right now. Thundertrap Trainer. Start trapping. Find that portable hole. Find that Swords to Plowshares. Deck's full of control objects at this point. Swords to Plowshares confirmed. I'm just going to delete Lurrus right now while it's for sure going to work. And that lets me attack with mine. Pew pew. Okay, I am now ahead. By a lot, actually. Thundertrap Trainer, MVP. Vexing Bauble. Okay, so if they play this, it's in play forever. Alright, that's fine. They can't crack it to draw a card. But I can just cast this stock up, which is a pretty cool card to have. Ooh. Or I can put my opponent in the pee-hole. Nobody likes being in the pee-hole. I'm going to stock up. Okay, Scalding Tarn, another stock up. Time Walk. How many Tundras do I play? There's one in the graveyard. There are 2 Tundras. Alright, I'm out of fetchable white sources, so I don't need this Scalding Tarn. I'll take Stock Up and Time Walk. And simply hope to survive this turn cycle. If they play a Time Twister, that's the worst thing they can do to me. If they just, like, kill Lurrus, that's annoying, but not a huge deal. Okay, we got to my turn. I drew Scalding Tarn anyway. I'm going to put Orc Army in a pee-hole. Not really worried about Bowmaster here. If they have a second Bowmaster, it'd be really powerful right now. No. Oh no. Well, shit. That was the worst that could ever go. Maybe I'm not supposed to attack with Lurrus then, but it's like, it's a 3-outer in their whole deck that gives them this line. Frustrating, but okay. I have access to Demonic Tutor here, or I could just stock up again. Stock up is basically Demonic Tutor, right? I don't think I want a Time Walk now. All right, Portable Hole and a stock up, or I could Swords to Plowshares. I could actually remove all of these Null Rods. I have the lines to do it. All right, Portable Hole, and our Portable Hole is worse than Plow. Plow and stock up coming to my hand. All right, we're on the full Jeskai control. That was probably a bad attack. I accept that. Like, it is a 3-outer. Like, they just ripped a single card from their deck and passed the turn. Could have been a land, could have been a Mox. A lot of things it could have been, but it was Orcish Bowmaster, and I could have played around it. So, no, not allowed to complain about something you could have avoided. All right, I'm going to attack with Thundertrap Trainer before I do anything else, because I can hardcast Force of Will now, if they have a third Bowmaster. And if this damage gets through, then I can start doing the other stuff I want to do. Okay. Fetch. Fetching now, I'm getting thin on fetchables, and I would prefer to not draw them off my stock ups or not have to go past them. Demonic Tutor's still here. All right, I'm going to stock up, leaving up exclusively white mana. Well, blue and white, you know what I mean. 2 Thundertrap Trainers, that is the best case scenario, or Thundertrap plus Snapcaster is better. All right. Here's the creature, half of the deck. Kicking in strong. All right, I am going back into the trap. Bees in the trap, as usual. 4th Airlingus. That changes the texture of the game. You're up. Okay, they don't have attacks anymore. I rule the battlefield. Snap Flame is live next turn. Swords to Plowshares, one of these Bowmasters. And I'm going to Demonic Tutor for another answer to Bowmaster. DT for Plow. All right, yeah, they've had enough. Cool. All right, so I made a pretty big mistake in that game, but it mostly didn't matter. And you can see they spent 3 cards this game, Vexing Bauble, Null Rod, on... I don't want to concede game on. I'll look at my sideboard. They spent 3 cards on dealing with things that had largely been sideboarded out, and that is one of the powers of this deck, if you know how to tap into it. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in round 2. My opponent's username is Turn1 Tinker, and they did not reveal a Lurrus. How does double force, double blue card feel against someone with these credentials? Uh-oh, feels a lot worse now. Imagine believing so hard in the card Tinker that you would make it your username, and then playing Bazaar, like registering Bazaar of Baghdad. You're a sellout. You believe in nothing. Okay, I don't think I have time or space for this paradoxical outcome. Maybe the next one. I'm going to hold on to... Well, they might have Mindbreak Trap. So they're going to have Mindbreak Trap and Force of Vigor in their deck. And they're on the full Keep 7 Bazaar Triple Squee. So they're just drawing 3 cards a turn. We're going to have a weird control game versus Hollow Vine here. Main deck Surgical. Yeah, okay. You can have my POs. I still got stock ups. I still got creatures. Is this what Bazaar gamers are up to these days? Main deck Surgical Extraction? They just don't like losing to Vexing Bauble with the deck they already have. Now they have another 0-cost spell in there. Okay, my outcomes are gone. I'm going to have to string together some major stock-up action, and then, or maybe 4th Airlingus them. It's going to be tough. 3 Squeeze discarded, and Wasteland. Cool. A Mox is a good draw. Volcanic Island, alright. Basic Island, and pass. There's no way a Bazaar deck can play Vexing Bauble. They could play Chalice, though. Alright, fine. Chalice on 0, especially now that they've seen my hand, is a potent thing that they could have access to, and drawing 3 cards a turn. Good chance they end up with it. Bazaar activation, they're looking at 12 cards right now. They get to keep 9 of them. Wasteland. Ha! Basic Island, ever heard of it? They discarded Blazing Root Wall at a hand size. They're on board, applying pressure. Force of Vigor in the upkeep. That is shitty enough that I'm going to force Pitching Force and try to keep my value spells. They're just burying me in cards so heavily at this point that they can afford to spend 2 cards on a Mox Pearl. Okay, my Force of Will worked. Stock up. Yep, they saved their Force for the stock up, which was the better target, rather than fighting over Mox Pearl and letting me still have stock up. I drew another one, but they have Wasteland here. They can do a bunch of stuff. What does my deck actually do about this situation in the main? Without Paradoxical Outcomes to turn the corner, I don't have a Pithing Needle. Vexing Bauble is the card I need to find access to, and then it becomes very hard for them to win. 6 cards in hand after a Bazaar filter. Wasteland used. Wall is getting a point. Taxian Probe. Alright. Show me your secrets. Force of Negation. Oh, their hand actually sucks right now. That's lucky. Okay. If I can stock up into Mox Vexing Bauble, I win the game. Oh my god. Calling it. Mana Crypt Vexing Bauble. Mana Crypt. Vexing Bauble. You know about this one? Are you familiar? And I'm going to cycle Lorien Revealed for... I don't need a Tundra anymore, but I guess that's the one that... There's one Demonic Tutor in my deck. Alright, I'll get Tundra. Okay, sweet. Now I get and play Lurrus, and it'll be really hard for them to do anything. I do have to race the Mana Crypt, but Lurrus has lifelink. And I can get and deploy Lurrus next turn. I am curious what this deck actually does from this position. Like, they can't cast Hollow One, they can't Force, they can't Trap, they can't Madness out of Rootwalla. If they have an actual mana source, sometimes they play like a Bazaar or a Yavimaya or a Gaia's Cradle kind of thing, but usually not. All right, they found the 4th Squee. Noxious Revival and Serum Powder are gone. Okay, we go to my turn. Crypt happens. I won the flip. Play the Tundra. Get and play Lurrus. Okay, I have the biggest creature and I have lifelink now. Yeah, Fury, Pyrokinesis, Snapback. They all cost 0. That's kind of this deck's whole shit. All right, 4 Squeeze, 2 Bazaars. They are fully firing. If there is a path out of this, they can find it. I'm very curious. Is Hollowvine actually just completely, irrevocably soloed by Vexing Bauble or not? A Bazaar discarding 3 Squeeze. If they could somehow discard 2 cards in a turn and then use Wasteland to cast Hollow One for 1, that's a thing that works. Yep, that's countered. I'm not going to forget. It's Magic Online. Strip Mine. Stripping me off red. Okay. I don't know if they have the ability to discard 2 cards, though. Vengevine. Okay, Vengevine is what they can still do. They could cast 2 Rootwallas in a spot where Vengevine is in the graveyard. The Rootwallas don't have to resolve, they just have to be cast. Okay, I will play this Scalding Tarn and pass the turn. I'd like a Wizard before I use Flame, but Flame can clear a Vengevine and make them rebuild. I might just draw cards in the end step, actually, now that I realize what they can do. They're through half their deck, and I haven't seen a Vengevine yet. There's still not one there. They could be sculpting for 1 giant turn where their hand is just 4 Vengevines, 2 Rootwallas, and try to blast me all at once. All right, there's a Vengevine and 2 Rootwallas. Okay, countered, you get the 4/3. All right, you're attacking me for 5. I'm attacking you for 3. I'm netting damage here. I'm still winning this race. I think I am just going to draw cards. I have Swords to Plowshares and... Okay, so this will cost me my red for the game, but I'm going to cast my last red card right now. Oh, I'm out of red card. Oh, shit. Never mind. My Volks are in the graveyard already. I can't cast this. I would have to come up with red off of a Mox, which means I have to sack Vexing Bauble long enough to deploy it. Dangerous. Okay, so I need a Thundertrap Trainer. Or a Snapcaster Mage, something like that. Lost my flip. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So this is actually really bad. I could sack Vexing Bauble, use it to draw a card, and then replay Vexing Bauble, but that turns on any Force of Wills, Force of Vigors, Noxious Revivals they have. Okay. Well, shit. I mean, it's really like 1 Thundertrap Trainer, and I'm stable, but I don't have that, and Mana Crypt is not helping my case here. Okay. Tough crowd. And the Bazaar continues. The other 3 Vengevines are in there somewhere. How many Rootwallas have they gone through, though? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, there's still 4 more Rootwallas and 3 Vengevines over there. Master of Death now in the squad. Another Bazaar. Vengevine, double Rootwalla. So this is 9. If I lose my Crypt Flip, I lose. All right, Mana Crypt, don't fuck me. Okay, I'm at 3. 50-50. On the flip. Big draws. Thundertrap Trainer. Shit. All right. Well, I'm going to have to draw with Vexing Bauble, which then makes my whole life worse. All right, Vexing Bauble, draw. Urza Saga, cast Vexing Bauble off of Lurrus. I hope they force this. I actually need them to, because I just locked myself out of red mana. Okay, cool. Mox Opal. Yeah, Force of Vigor is on here. And I don't have a sequence that can get me red if they use it. Okay, we're in there. Mox Sapphire. Then we've got blue, red, colorless. Hold on. Yeah, I had the brief intrusive thought of maybe I can deck them by making them draw 2, but that's not going to happen. All right, target player draws 2. If they have a force, they could just force this. Force of Will or... Yeah, Mindbreak Trap. Okay, cool. Am I dead? So they attack for 5, I block, I gain 3. All right, I'm not quite dead. All Wasteland that immediately. I can get another turn at 1 life, but at this point, they have drawn so many cards, I don't think I can beat it. Okay, so despite their absolute keep 7 bullshit nut draw, it still came down to me flooding out for 3 turns in a row when any spell breaks it open. Interesting. All right, and then I bring in sideboard cards. Okay, they're bazaring still. Just looking for that extra point of damage to make sure I don't get another send. Okay, so Root Wallet does work now. Discarded a hollow one. That's scary. That means their cards in hand are better than hollow one. Really, if their cards in hand are just force blue card, they win. This is not rocket science at all. Hollow one, Chalice on 0. If they had saved this hollow one for second main, they would get their Vengevine back. Oh, they're just letting me die to my own crypt, I guess. Lost the flip. You did it. Okay, to the sideboard. Swords to Plowshare is coming in. Soul Guide Lantern and Nile Spellbomb are interesting because this isn't like Dredge. They can put a ton of power and toughness on the board without actually using their graveyard. But in concert with Vexing Bauble, if I can keep the squeeze from recurring and the Vengevines from triggering, that gets a lot better. Okay, I think I want to shave an Opal. I think I want to be both a combo deck and a control deck in this situation, which is weird. I think I want to be a combo deck more than I want to be a control deck, though. What if I just don't do this shit? What if I, now with open eyes and open heart, know the matchup and just send it as full combo build and try to overload their opening interaction? The list doesn't have a Pithing Needle or a Containment Priest or anything that would make it super easy to pivot. Merchant Scroll's a little slow. Mox Opal is susceptible to Force of Vigor in a way that I'm not really comfortable with. That can get me a couple pieces in here. My artifact count hasn't changed. And this could just be a metagame thing. Like, I pulled this directly from Unlucky Monkey's challenge win. Like, if you want to just put 2 Tabernacles in your sideboard, that would help a matchup like this. But this is not a popular matchup right now because the deck is not very good in the metagame. Okay, -1 Bauble, +1 Plow. Right, I think I'm going to go here. A little more interaction, a little more graveyard hate, but still mostly just jamming it. This is not very good. This is a white source away from having the initiative on turn 1, which I would be pretty into. Yeah, I think I'm going to mulligan this. This one's more interesting. This is just a slow, grindy hand, though. This is what I was trying to avoid with my sideboard plan. Yeah, I think I'm going to go to 5. And having the Saga is nice. That is a route to Vexing Bauble, which matters a lot, but it also opens up Force of Vigor and Wasteland in a way that's really disruptive. I'm going to roll the dice here, actually. I'm going to keep and bottom Paradoxical Outcome, and then I can play Urza's Saga. They need to waste it or force it immediately, because then I Time Walk and pop the Saga, and they're under it. That's my plan. Opponent kept 6. They're leading on Strip Mine. All right, they smelled my trap. Tundra, that one's solid. Right, Flooded Strand pass. I'm extremely interested in just finding any Mox to turn on this Academy and get my stock up going. Bazaar. How good is the Bazaar activation? Is it the full nuts again? It's 3 Root Wallis. That's not the nuts. It is pressure on a board. It's pressure that gets blocked by a single Thundertrap Trainer. But they're not discarding real cards yet. I think it is worth it to get the Archive here, even though that commits me to blue-white mana exclusively. I do like Time Walk. Or I like Brainstorm. Do I like it better than a random card? What if I just Time Walk into the next thing? All right, I'm binning Brainstorm. I need a Mox is what I need. Okay, now I can Time Walk up into Stock Up. Hey, there's that one. How do I want to navigate this? I mean, having this in play is better than not having it in play, obviously. I could try to stock up and protect my Bauble or flush out interaction for... Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get a Force Blue card out of their hand or find a Force Blue card of my own. If I find a Mox, I could still play Bauble here. Okay, Force Pitching Mindbreak Trap. That's done. And past the turn, this is the moment of truth. Is their Bazaar very good? Or am I going to get to grind out here. Discarded another Bazaar. That's scary. So they're probably prioritizing interaction then, rather than shredding. They found a Squee and a Vengevine. Let's go. All right. Now I can protect my Vexing Bauble with Force of Will. Cool. All right, that's just stuck, which means I'm now grabbing Lurrus. Okay, my Force of Will doesn't work now, but Lurrus plus Flame of Anor hopefully gets control of this game, but they do have one Squee going with their one Bazaar. And there is a Vengevine in the bin, and 5 more Root Wallas in their deck somewhere. Master Squee. Okay, so they found the grind half of the deck. Ancestral Recall. I like that card. I'll use the red to target myself, or I can't. Or Soul Guide Lantern still works. Yeah, I'm going to use the red. I want to make sure I can cast Lurrus this turn. Moxen are worse than I'd like, though. Oh, hello. What's up, team? I will deploy this Thundertrap Trainer. I found Stock Up and Mox Emerald. I guess it's Stock Up. I mean, Mox is good. Am I going to put the shields down on Vexing Bauble for a turn? I could. I have Force to protect it. Yeah, I will take Mox Emerald, actually. Like, next turn I can play Lurrus, pop Vexing Bauble, play Emerald, replay Bauble, and then I have Lurrus in play. And now they're doing significantly less damage to me. But their draw engine is online. I bet they wish they kept that second Bazaar now that Bauble's around, though. A second Vengevine, that's really good. You can take me off Red or Academy here. Or take me off Lurrus. Yeah, that's fair, too. I guess I'll just have to keep casting Wizards. A Flame of Anor. Right, Stock Up could find lands the best. I could also just Flame of Anor on their turn. Yeah, I'm just going to pass. I have full Wizard mode going. Squee, return to the hand. Bazaar activation. Discarded the 3 discard dopes. Found another Bazaar. Now they're cooking. Right, they found 1 Root Walla. They might still play a hollow one here to trigger their 2 Vengevines. There it is. Okay, Flame of Anor can clear the Vengevines eventually. Eventually, get it? Does that work? Okay, I'm going to block Blazing Root Walla. And I'm going to cook a Vengevine and draw 2 cards. Okay, I take 6 here. That is half of my life total. I found Tundra. We're out of the hole, kinda. Swords to Plowshares all the way out of the hole. Tundra. And do I want to play this Lurrus? I could do the thing I described 2 turns ago, which is Lurrus, Crack Bauble, Mox Emerald, replay Vexing Bauble. Or I could just play Thundertrap Trainer with a bunch of plows available. I think I'm just going to pass here, actually. Or, okay, I'm going to plow Vengevine is what I'm going to do. Hold on. Yeah, I'll plow Vengevine. I'll just do it right now. I might be being too careful here, but Vengevine is their only way to win this game. One of them is all the way gone now. They do have the double Bazaar, triple Squee engine going again. But I've got some stuff going too. Bazaar. Yeah, it is a little frustrating with this particular construction of the list to have so many resources and so many things going right and still not be able to just lock them out. Just like a pitting needle in the list, and I think we're already done. Okay, they bricked off. I think I'd like to Flame of Anor here. I just want to be spending mana. I'll draw 2 and kill a Root Walla. Okay, Paradoxical Outcome. And, alright, this is now maybe enough artifacts to be worth putting the shields down for a turn. A Lurrus, get in. They have 6 cards in hand. That's kind of a lot. Alright, I'm going to take a risk. Alright, my land for turn. Mox Emerald. Mox Opal. I probably should have played Bauble before Opal. Now Force of Vigor is actually good. Okay, they can Mindbreak Trap this. I will use Force of Will on that. Force of Vigor in response. That's not that bad. All right, I'll float white. Does this matter? I'll float white. Force of Negation. They've got 2 cards left. I'm going to force that pitching Paradoxical Outcome. And then Bauble's in, and then I have Thundertrap Trainer. Force of Will and Mana Crypt are both pretty bad, but I'll take Force of Will, I guess. And I think having mana for my stock up is more important than drawing a random card with Bauble, because I do have Tolarian Academy going here. If I find my Underground Sea, that's access to Soul Guide Lantern, and then I can stop all this nonsense for good. Second Vengevine hit there. Maybe attacking with that Thundertrap Trainer was wild. I gotta figure out where my tempo is gonna come from. Alright, so 2 Vengevines coming out here. I don't have a Mana Crypt this game. I at least have that going for me. So I block one of these, I go to 1, and then I can play Trainer Concaso moving forward. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna go to 1. That makes Force of Will and Fetch lands bad. But I got stuff going on. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is an endless stream of blockers and cards, and Lurrus can gain life in between. 4th Aerolingus to my hand. Soul Guide Lantern to my hand. And going to 4, if they find another Vengevine, I'm still okay. I will attack with Lurrus. Okay, here we go. This is the last turn of the game. The last meaningful turn of the game. There's only 1 Vengevine left in their deck. And even if they hit it, even if they trigger it, I can still just block the 3 of them and then set up shop again. They did find the 3rd Vengevine. Hollow one. And Subtlety. Sure, that works. Vengevine triggers. I go to 3 and I lose all my trainers on this attack. Did not attack with Rootwalla. That was a free damage. I can't afford to block it. Okay, my trainers are dead. And then we go to my turn and try to figure this shit out. Okay, Soul Guide Lantern exiling Squee to start. The Soul Guide Lanterns are all free because of Academy. I'll take a Squee out of there. And another one, Soul Guide Lantern. Target Squee. Is there a Squee? Master of Death? They protected the Squeeze. I'll take Master of Death. And now I have the option. I have 4, 5, 6 mana. I could just 4th Aerolingus and make enough blockers to chill. Yeah, if I just make 4 blockers with Lingus and don't attack, I think I'm fine. Yeah, this is enough to trade with a Vengevine and then chump the other 2. And Lurrus can still tangle. Okay, I think we're over it here. I get the Monarch. And they could attack with the Rootwalla and get the Monarch if they want it, but I think it's okay. Still using Bazaar. What's left to hit over there? I guess, like, Wastelands. 2 Squeeze in the bin. Rootwalla still on blocking duty. We trade with a Vengevine and chump the other ones. Do I want to trade with 2 of them? No, my Thundertrap Trainers can beat the ones that are still in play. Okay, sweet. They gave up. Ah, that's a lot of work. My Kingdom for a Pithing Needle. Okay, I think I underestimated Spellbomb a little bit. 1 Paradoxical come out, 1 Spellbomb in. Yeah, maybe just being a control deck is the posture I have to take here. Okay, I'm in. This is what I'm doing now. How important is Mental Misstep? They have Rootwallas, and they have Noxious Revivals, and they have their own Misstep. Do I get Merchant Scroll back in here? I don't think I want to play Dismember versus them. It does kill Hollow one, but so does Plow and Flame of Anor. Scroll gives me another Ancestral. Yeah, I don't think I want my Misstep. Alright, Merchant Scroll, you're back in. It's kind of slow, but if I'm cutting 2 POs, now I have a tutor that could get PO, if that is the direction I have to go in. This hand is everything I'd want in the matchup. I'm keeping. They mulled a 6, they powdered 6, and they kept a hand with 6 cards. Okay. 1 Force of Vigor, 1 Hollow 1, 1 Force of Will out. That card is mildly disruptive, but it's not where I'm going to spend my Force of Will. I'm going to use that to protect my Vexing Bauble. Okay, so holding the Bazaar activation back. That tells me that they don't have stuff they want to discard, or they have like Force Blue card right now, or Force Green card. Well, Force Green card doesn't help. And they're digging for emergency answers. Misstep is the most annoying thing they could do, because that just goes 1 for 1. Vengevine, Squee, Master, and Baubles in. Okay. I mean, their Chalice was very good. But right now, they have to get on board, or else Soul Guide Lantern knocks the Vengevine. Okay, no spells. Wasteland is okay. Just don't play 2 Hollow ones here. We did it. We got through it. I think I am going to play around Wasteland here, because Merchant Scroll is such a heater if I can get it on the stack. And I'm going to clip the Vengevine, and then I am also going to bomb the Squee and the Master. I'm just taking it all. Try to collapse that draw engine. Because there's two problems there. There's the immediate threat of Vengevine, and then there is everything else that's going on. Found another squee and the one of Strip Mine. Great. Okay. The game's going to get very stupid for a minute. Never mind. Had it. And had it again. Okay. Pass. Decks with high land counts are broken. They have one squee going. Bazaar's going. If I can get to Lurrus, that represents Soul Guide Lantern. They found another squee. The engine's back online. Okay, fetch for Volcanic Island and Merchant Scroll. This is probably just getting Ancestral, though Flame of Anor is a strong consideration. Yeah, I'm getting Ancestral Recall, though. All right, pass. Yeah, Flame of Anor breaking the Chalice lets me sack my Bauble, dump this mana, play Lurrus, get the Bauble back. Okay, still Bazaring. Two squeeze discarded. Wasteland on my white. All right, Ancestral. Do your thing. Ancestral Recall, target me. Cool. It did not do its thing. I'm going to discard a Force of Will. Bazaar activation. Two squeeze returned. Wow. All right. Well, that's 4 of the 5. Hard mode. I'm going to discard Mox Opal. I think that one's a long way away from being helpful right now. So their job now is to assemble one of their 3 remaining Vengevines and 2 spells to cast before I find a white source. There is 1 Tundra left in my deck. Oh no. Well, they found a Vengevine, used a Ruwala, a hollow one now, puts me under pressure. I just need a fetch land before I'm dead. Oh my god. Okay, I'm discarding Mox Emerald. So that decision to let them have Chalice on turn 1 turns out to be maybe not working out for me. But it did take 4 Wastelands, including actual Strip Mine. It took 3 Wastelands and Strip Mine on my basic to get to this point. I'm not sure if that's a mistake or just something that didn't work out. Because if they had Mental Misstep to my Vexing Bauble, that's so much worse than them just having Chalice in play. The third Bazaar, they are all the way in here. Discarded a hollow one, so they must have other creatures to cast if they find a Vengevine. Oh no. Okay, I'm not believing in stock up anymore. They're under 5 minutes on their clock, but that's plenty of time to attack me 3 times with Vengevine. And they're in their bottom 16 cards of their deck. Those other 2 Vengevines are in there somewhere. There they are. That's both of them. And a Rootwalla. Okay, we've lost. And the 5th Wasteland revealed for funsies. Okay, GG. Yeah, not having real sideboard cards is kind of tough. Like, that deck is not well positioned in the metagame. I mean, I don't want to overreact here because that is a deck that is bad against Orcish Bowmaster and Vexing Bauble, both of which are format staples, and can't really advise anyone to do that with their time if they care about winning. But do you build your sideboard for things people might play, or do you build it for what the metagame really shows? Okay, a very good and informative match, though. Learned a lot doing that. On to the next round. The 9th installment of the NYSE Vintage Open Series is coming. This 15 proxy vintage tournament with Power 9 prizes takes place on Saturday, June 14th, 2025 in Long Island, New York, and has a $500 entry fee. That's a hefty entry, but the guaranteed prizes for top 8 are unlimited Black Lotus, Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxen. The NYSE Open 8 went well for me last year. Someone better come stop me from getting another Lotus. Will it be you? I'll be at the NYSE Open 9 on June 14th, and I hope to see you there. Register on melee.gg or use the link in the video description. I'm on the play in round 3 versus a non-Lurrus. I'm going to keep my hand. I have a boatload of mana, force blue card, and stock up to reload. I'm a blue source shy, or I guess a color source, any source of mana shy of casting stock up on turn 1 here, unfortunately. I can bauble them before I start playing stuff out to inform whether I'm going to fetch Basic Island or not. Opponent has Mull to 5. The Mull to 5 off of a non-Lurrus reveal. Good chance this is a Bazaar deck. But I'm going to bauble them first to see if I can get any additional peaks. Time Walk. Alright, it's not a Bazaar deck. Never mind. Just a person who Mull to 5. That can happen too sometimes. Okay, Time Walk, no Lurrus. This could be Bug. Could be Jewel Shops. I think I do want Basic Island just in case. There are enough wasteland decks that I want to respect it. A Bauble draws another land. That's great. Black Lotus. Okay. Vexing Bauble. So it's use it or lose it. All right. I'm going to choose to lose it. All right. So this does look like Jewel Shops. We'll take Key. They still have a land drop available, and they have 4 mana to spend. The One Ring. That card is annoying. And we know their last card in hand is Time Walk, plus they get another Time Walk and an Ancestral Recall out of the One Ring. All right, well, let's see what happens here. This is one of those spots that if I Force of Will the Black Lotus, they're not doing anything. But if they use Black Lotus to cast a normal spell, I'm doing something. I don't know. It's a weird one. They stock up. Flame of Anor could get me somewhere. Paradoxical Outcome, pretty rough. All right, I want the Flame. That'll clear Vexing Bauble. And I guess I want Thundertrap Trainer as well. That gives me the Wizard. A Volcanic Island, Thundertrap Trainer. A little short of offspringing it. Mox Sapphire is my only take here. And I will pass the turn and hope I'm not dead, even though I probably am. Especially with that Time Walk in the mix. Though they do need an initial mana source before anything happens, but they've drawn 800 cards. Not just a mana source, but Urza Saga. But their Moxen are off here too. Okay, they untapped Grim Monolith and passed the turn. Another Force of Will. I mean, that's pretty sweet. All right, I'm going to blow up Vexing Bauble and draw 2 cards. They can draw a card in response, but it'll cost them their Grim Monolith. Okay, yeah, they left the Grim Monolith up. Mox Sapphire. Vexing Bauble. I think I want to play another Trainer. I guess I could Bauble them first. Coveted Jewel. Okay, well, Trainer is a blue card. So is Lorien Revealed. Like, I could cycle Lorien Revealed, find a land, use that land, plus Mox Sapphire to play Trainer. But surviving this turn is probably going to be important. I think I am going to use the Trainer. I have enough blue cards that hopefully I can just replace it. Okay, Flame of Anor and Paradoxical Outcome. I'm going to take the PO. That's how I turn the corner. No, Force pitching Lorien Revealed is the first line of defense, and then I can pitch the PO in an emergency. 8 cards in their hand. They could make it more with the One Ring. Untapping Monolith. Coveted Jewel. Force of Will that. And they force pitching Simulacrum Synthesizer. I'm going to force the Jewel again. Gotta fight where I can fight. Of course, they have another force. At least they pitched the Time Walk. All right, F6. One of us is dead here. They have 6 cards to go off with. Ancient Tomb, 6 cards, 5 mana. I do have creatures in play to take the Jewel if they somehow don't win here. 6 mana. PO. All right, we're freaking dead. Yeah, I mean, forcing that opening Black Lotus was... If I could see the future, I would have won the game easily if I did that. But obviously I can't see the future. And the Black Lotus would have cost me stock up, which was the thing I kept my hand on the strength of. I'm going to make them play that out, though. Good chance I'm dead here. They have so much going on, but, you know, it's possible to whiff, I guess. So let's make them click through, and at the very least, they didn't keep their opening hand for 3.5 minutes at the start of this league. Like, if they're double queuing or whatever, burn for it. You're going to click. Right, One Ring's back. Okay. Looks like I'm getting a turn. Interesting. They did remove the Jewel from play, which means my trainers don't have anything to steal, and my opponent has ring protection right now. Talent Gates of Madara. Fascinating. Okay, I have a Mishra's Bauble in the graveyard that works with Lurrus. Okay, I will buy Lurrus. Use Black Lotus to play Lurrus. Opponent has the force, pitching Sink into Stupor. I have 1 card left in my hand, and I will pass the turn. Saga can pop here. Soul Ring. Activating One Ring. I don't think Swords to Plowshare is going to help with anything, but I have it, just in case. Ramping up that mana with a Grim Monolith on tap. Coveted Jewel. Monolith. This is a Phyrexian Metamorph that's going to be a Coveted Jewel. They're down to 6 life. They have a Ring on 2 and Ancient Tomb as mana. And Phyrexian Metamorph will tax mana if they don't spend life for it. In 10 cards in hand and 7 mana, they should be able to do something. Ancestral yourself. It's so funny seeing Ancestral Recall on turn 4 when your opponent has 85 mana in play and 12 cards in hand already. It's just like, oh yeah, that one. They can do that too. A PO for 8 trillion. Okay, I'm officially F6'd. Go nuts, opponent. Okay, so against this deck, Force of Negation comes in. Pyroblast has some targets, but I guess like Flusterstorm's pretty bad against this deck, but Pyroblast gets Metamorph as well as the spells that Flusterstorm would get. That's probably good enough. There's always the possibility that Time Vault is the bottom card of their deck. And their Saga has completely run its course at this point. They would have to Karn. Well, there's the Time Vault. Not to be a dick, but I do want to see what their win con is with Urza Saga gone. Okay, yep, Karn. But if this is just some creature, I actually have counterplay for it. And if they just plus on the One Ring a bunch of times, that also kills me. All right. I believe I'm dead. But I would like them to make a wish for information. Is decking them possible? And there's 14 cards left in their deck. Warp Coil Engine. I can answer that. I mean, they could just wish for it again, because it'll be in exile. I could chump it twice, then exile it. They would have to be very reckless and stupid to lose this game. Okay, like almost forgetting don't have Time Vault. Or do they have 2 in the bank now? Oh yeah, that's 2 in the bank. If they just play Worm Coil and activate Time Vault, I'll concede. But if they replay the One Ring and start drawing cards, I will see if I can get them to spend these last 14 cards. They discarded 3 rings and 3 coveted jewels and Tinker. Academy, Ruby. Activate Time Vault. Good idea. Another Worm Coil. They could play both of them. Okay. You got it. Worm Coil Engine in the sideboard. All right. Pyroblast, Force of Negation coming in. I could see Portable Hole, like taking out their Grim Monoliths, maybe, or their keys. Maybe that's a game plan, but I don't think that's where I want to be. I want to combo kill this opponent. Swords of Plowshare is out. Sometimes these decks have Hull Breacher in the sideboard, but I'm bringing in Pyroblast, which also answers Hull Breacher, so I'm actually going up on answers to Hull Breacher even if I cut Plows. That's fine. I don't think settling into Fine Time Bobbling them is important. I don't need Basic Island in this matchup. One more cut. Misstep hits Soul Ring, Mana Vault, Ancestral, and their Misstep. Not a lot of hits for that one, but it is blue for my 6 forces. Lingus is a win con. I'm looking at Bauble or Demonic Tutor. It's probably just Bauble. I could cut Vexing Bauble. My deck's full of zeros. They're a Trinisphere deck. Okay, I'm gonna cut Vexing Bauble. And off we go. Okay, I'm gonna keep this hand. I have Time Walk into Stock Up before they get a turn. Opponent's on 6 cards. Time Walk. Bonus turn. I'm really good at drawing Meticulous Archive. Just gotta say that. Stocking up. Force of Will for sure. And Stock Up is better for me here than PO. Right, force and Stock Up to my hand. 2 POs on the bottom of my deck. Good to know about. Shop, Emerald, Manifold Key, Trinisphere. Well, this game's not going very far if they have Trinisphere in play. Stock back up. Force of Negation, Flame of Anor. Is Flame better than Trainer or Stock Up here? I have to take the Force. It's just required by law. And I guess I would want Stock Up if I don't have to force this turn. It's kind of awkward that I'm picking the best card, but also most likely to be exiled immediately. Ooh, the Lingus. That's a draw engine. And if they spew off here but don't win, Time Vault, Jesus. Well, I'll counter that. All right, Time Vault in exile. That's serious. Talon Gates of Madara from hand. Okay, so I'm drawing 4th Aerolingus. They don't have Force, or else they would have used it there. I'm actually going to shuffle before I Lingus, because I just put a bunch of Stock Ups, Flame of Anors, and POs on the bottom of my deck. I'd like them in the pool of cards I could draw. I'll get Underground Sea and do a full strength Lingus. But I'm not going to attack with all of them, because these have Haste and Trample. If my opponent copies it with Metamorph, I believe the copy would have Haste and Trample as well. It is a property of the creature. It's not granted by Lingus. Lotus scary. All right, well, here we go. Time to spin the wheels and see where we go. 4 cards in hand. There's no Time Vault to find. Or Karn can still grab Time Vault. All right, Metamorph makes another jewel. So they're looking for the Karn, which is a 1-of restricted card. All right, but they are going to see most of their deck here. Ruby after the 3rd jewel. Another Metamorph. 4 jewels. The 4th Metamorph. Monolith. Another Monolith. Untapping Jewel. 9 in the pool. 12, 13 in the pool. And there's a PO. All right, have fun. There's your deck. Yeah, sometimes you force twice and look at 12 extra cards in the first 2 turns of the game and still just lose on turn 3. Welcome to Vintage. And the jewels are coming back down. We know they can draw at least 9 more cards this turn. Time Walk, all right. That takes a lot of pressure off them from passing with a jewel in play. Okay, sinking my untapped human. How they could copy one of the other ones, take the Monarch, if that's a line they're interested in, versus just drawing their deck with Coveted Jewel. Weird to just sneak that in there, if you're going to keep playing cards. Ancestral Recall, 17 cards left in the deck. Okay, they're sinking all of my humans one by one. All of my horses are gone. Mana Vault, there's another win condition. Hatawara, hell yeah. They did it. They answered all of my horses. I'm still the Monarch, and they still don't have a Time Vault in their deck. There are problems left to solve. I guess Talon Gates is in here to just phase out Anointed Peacekeepers or Archons of Emuria kind of things. That's a really elegant solution to that. That's cool. But this deck was already pretty bad at supporting its blue spells. I wonder what got cut for this. Though this is also a blue source. All right, interesting. Yeah, this might be the perfect tool for this ridiculous deck. I am pleased to report, though, the Jewel Shop's metagame share has plummeted dramatically. This was the top deck for a while. 6 months ago, it was constantly jockeying between the top 3 slots, and now it's pretty firmly like out of the top 10. Synthesizer, that card can win the game. We did see that in game 1 too. They pitched it to a force. When an artifact with a mana value 3 or greater enters, create a 0/0 construct with +1 for each artifact you control. Won't take long to win with that thing. All right, made another copy of that. They have multiple Metamorphs, and we know about it. 15/15 already. Look at this construct. This looks sweet. This is the construct from the actual big score. The Vault. The Outlaws of Thunder Junction second set that wasn't actually a second set. Well, any one of those kills me. I don't think I can answer 3 of them at once. And they're so rolled up that they were discarding Force of Wills to hand size. I don't think they're worried about anything here. And I thought we were doing well this game. Solarian Academy gets Karn. Karn can get the Time Vault. Then they take unlimited turns. Oh, they got Micah Synthlatus instead. I guess that works too. That means they can't Force of Will anymore. But who needs it? Because I can't do anything. All right, GG. Like I said, forced twice and stocked up twice and became the Monarch in the first 3 turns of the game and then just died. That's tough. Since I am doing a real testing here, I'm not just doing a league for fun. Like this is, I have 2 Black Lotus tournaments on the line here. Thinking about this structurally, my last few Vintage outings, I was playing Esper Lurrus Control, including top 8ing Eternal Weekend with it. And it also won the other Eternal Weekend, the one in America, and I top 8'd the one in Europe. And that deck was very good against combo nonsense and very good against Bazaar decks. And my 2 losses so far have been to Bazaar deck and combo nonsense, both of which I feel potentially less prepared for as this list, which needs to dedicate a lot of slots to stuff like PO and a million mana rocks. And obviously Esper Lurrus can't just push back and go over the top. Like there are 7-card hands where instead of having 2 forces, 2 stock ups, I just like cast stock up on turn 1, then win the game somehow. But that didn't materialize versus my Bazaar opponent or against my Jewel Shop's opponent. And maybe that's how I'm sideboarding. Maybe I should mulligan harder for the combo send. Or maybe this is a small sample size and I don't have enough information yet. These are just things I'm thinking about as I have a serious tournament coming up. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the draw round 4 in a Lurrus mirror. I have some mana and some POs that I'm far away from casting, but I'm mulligan. This one has Force of Will, and I can get PO off the ground. I'm going to keep this, and I think bottom Brainstorm. I can force Lorien Revealed in a pinch, or I can get my next land with it. But non-land mana sources are great for me here. I have a protected turn 1 PO for 2. If I can make that 3, I might go for it. The opponent is bobbling themselves. Also, I've been thinking about this league in between the rounds, and I think in that Hollow Vine matchup, well, this is not getting any better. I think in that Hollow Vine matchup where I had the Soul Guide Lantern game 3, I think I was supposed to target Squee on entry and then just wait for them to trigger Vengevine before I popped the Soul Guide Lantern. I thought I could do more than I could in that spot, and I don't think that was actually true. All right, I'm going to cast this stock up I've drawn while I was narrating. Ruby and Force. Ruby and Land. I think I'm going to go Ruby Tundra here and just try to set up the best possible PO for next turn. Okay, I'm at 4 mana and 3 targets. Wasteland takes me off it. Force of Will is something that obviously they could have. Lavinia is horrendous. Bowmaster is annoying, but I could win through it. They did not do anything. Okay, I'm going to play this island. And I think I just want to pass. Like if they go end step Bowmaster, I can respond with PO and have a grip full of stuff. Meticulous Archive. Kept the card. All right, I'm going to play a little careful with this, because this is the last card I have that has any value at all. And then with 5 cards in hand, I'm not super interested in getting cooked. Stock up. Okay, I think I will play right now, because it is going to get worse for me if stock up resolves. Right now, all right, cool. I at least resolved my PO, snuck that through in a spot where they were shields down. Now Thundertrap Trainer is my action card. And I could just lose. If they are a combo build of PO themselves, or if this is just Guide Breach, anything like that. They know 3 of the cards in my hand are the 3 rocks I picked up, and then I have 4 unknowns. All right, stock up into Lotus stock up. This is vintage gaming right now. I don't hate it. Tolarian Academy, a little scary. It's good for 1 Soul Ring. It's good for more now. 4 cards in their hand. See what I can do this turn. A PO. Let's go. All right, well, that's exciting. Mox. They know about these 2. They don't know about this one. They know about this one. And I am going to send... Hold on. I should trap first. Trapping without Offspring here is a little suspicious. But is this card worth countering on its own? If this draws out a Force, I'm in great shape. Stock up in Flame of Anor. You know I love Flame of Anor. What does my mana actually do this turn? I have 3, 4, 5, 6 mana right now. Stock up could get me deeper. All right, I will take stock up, and then I will cast Paradoxical Outcome. 5 targets. Oh, it resolved. We're cooking, team. I've got 2 stock ups in the hand. Mox Jet added to the squad here. Stuff is happening. I still have my land drop. Academy's in my deck somewhere. I'm saving that on purpose. I have 6 mana here. That's enough to scroll for PO. A Merchant Scroll for another outcome. I lost my Thundertrap Trainer on that sequence, but that's okay. Leaving red in the pool because Flame of Anor is a card I play. It would be weird if they suddenly had interaction. Oh no, did I miss one? No, I didn't. Okay, it was just under Lurrus for a second. Oh wow. Why let the first one resolve, but not the second one? Now I have Force of Will. I didn't before. I'm going to pitch Mental Misstep. Keep these stock ups. I think the way I lose here is if my chain breaks and the stock ups help keep it moving. Yeah, it's weird to suddenly have interaction. I guess they probably have some win the game card in their hand, and they're just trying to bet that if they get to their turn and can protect, it's better than stopping my big swing. Okay, I have a lot of mana now. The Lurrus is officially in the way. Hang out with each other up here. We've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 mana. That is enough to... I could stock up or I could start kicking Thundertrap Trainer. There's 1 PO left in my deck. All right, I'm going to kick Thundertrap Trainer. Offspringa, Mishra's Bauble, and 3 lands. 4th Aerolingus. That's the win condition. I'll take that one. And how much mana do I actually have? Still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a high quality Lingus. Not quite lethal. It's good enough. With Force in my hand, I'm just going to send a full-size Lingus their way. And bauble you for good measure. You're drawing Flusterstorm right on time. The Flusterstorm is mildly concerning because if they did have a Send It card, or their Force pitched PO, that might be why they didn't Force, because their PO was their only action. Gotta hope that's true, because they have Flusterstorm that can beat my Force now. But they are dead on board. Flame of Anor in the grip, Flusterstorm, and 2 unknowns in yours. They're a Lurrus deck, so they can't have any spicy tinkers. They're not showing me red mana, so I'm not worried about Breach yet. The P-hole. Alright, something's going in a P-hole. One of my many horses. This feels like they're setting up a paradoxical outcome, though. Like, why would you play that card otherwise? Alright, PO for 3. I guess we try to force the issue here. Get this Flusterstorm out of the mix. Costs you that mana. And it's your turn to send. It was possible for me to stock up 2 more times on my turn instead of playing the Lingus. Like, maybe here I am thinking Force of Will would be enough, but this top deck Flusterstorm changed the rules. Maybe I was supposed to bobble them before I play Lingus. Like, I was going to do that anyway. Yeah, if I lose this game, it's my fault. Okay, the baubles are coming back down. Portable Hole still in the hand. Here's a stock up. Okay, they whiffed. But I definitely played that game poorly. I think I'm just supposed to stock up so my hand can never lose, not just get to a point where my hand probably won't lose. And then I can probably Lingus them for full lethal in one shot next turn. Okay, that was sloppy. Got away with it, though. I think I just want my Pyroblast in. Maybe 1 Swords to Plowshares to respect Lurrus. I don't really want Bauble in, because that stops me from going hard, and going hard is what I'm trying to do. I could shave 1 Opal, because that card is just worse against sideboards. But it is pretty good when you are trying to combo as fast or faster than your opponent. These Force of Negations are a consideration as well, knowing that they're a combo deck. I don't need Basic Island. I can get a Force of Negation in there. Is there a bad card left? I don't think so. This is what I'm going to do. Here are both of the Mox Opals I left in. I'm going to mulligan this hand, obviously, that doesn't play Magic. Here we go. I'm going to keep this, and mulligan's hurt. It's not Force of Will. It's not any of the mana. It could be any of the other 3 cards. I think Time Walk is the one that... I can do that anytime. In fact, it's better later. But just like scrolling for Ancestral on turn 1 and sending it with protection sounds pretty good. Okay, that's my choice. And Tolarian Academy is a hell of a card. I can misstep a Vexing Bauble if they have that stupid thing again. Okay, Mox Jet, Mox Sapphire, Tolarian Academy, Merchant Scroll. It's awkward because we've seen Flusterstorm in their deck. I'm going to take this Ancestral Recall, and I'm just going to pass for now. If they fetch, I'm going to Ancestral in response. Cool, there it is. All right, Ancestral myself where I can't get flustered. Misstep, I got one of those too. And they have a Force. Okay, I don't have one of those. Well, I do, but not a blue card to go with it. Force pitching PO. Okay, they have survived the initial onslaught. 2 cards left in hand. They're about to Surveil or fire their own Ancestral. Okay, Surveil. And kept the card on top. Hate that. That's a good card. Woof. All right, so they're straight into the Saga. The last card in their hand or the card on top of their deck needs to be a mana source for that to be a big problem, though. And if it is a mana source, it means there's only one card left in their hand. And if I find something like Stock Up or PO to get the chain rolling, we're cool. Okay. So they are not making any constructs. And I am going to get the chain rolling. Well, I'm going to fire this right now for the 2 cards I can get off it because we are in kind of the garbage time. And if they tutor Vexing Bauble off this Saga, I'm not going to be able to get any value again. All right. Well, I was right to play around Flusterstorm. All right. And garbage time continues, but at least they don't have any constructs. My next white or black source can cast Lurrus. They could tutor Lotus right now, and a mana source gets them Lurrus going. I do have my 1 Swords to Plowshares in my deck currently, in my hand though. Mox Jet. Okay, so they're setting up for Ancestral Recall. Bummer. All right, they've pulled ahead. I still have a better mana situation than they do, but they have more cards than me now. Mox Pearl. Sensei's Top. All right, that's not a card I have access to. So they're going to be better in the top deck war because they're looking at 3 cards a turn. A Bauble. 1, 2, 3, buy Lurrus. Could have left up Force there, but no thanks. And I'm just going to pass priority, and they're going to top, and then I'll Bauble them when they're done topping. All right, what did you keep on top? Mox Opal. All right. Any blue card is a good draw here. Another powerful sideboard card I can't cast. Opal. They're 1 short of Lurrus right now. Stock Up. Yeah, that's pretty good. Pyroblast. JK. I don't have any red mana. Vexing Bauble. That's pretty good against my hand and my plan here. Time Walk. Well, it's a shitty Time Walk, but it's at least something. I will take my spin. Stock Up. All right. A card I can play. Flame of Anor, Thundertrap Trainer. Those look pretty good here. Flame of Anor is good if I get a red source. Yeah, maybe I just have to take Trainer and Stock Up. I could cast Cataxian Probe for mana right now. Yeah, I think I want Stock Up and Trainer. Even though I do want Flame to clear that Bauble. But that's not something I can help resolve right now. Okay, they're spinning their top. Soul Ring. That gets them into Lurrus. Okay, Lurrus is in their hand now. She doesn't do much with the Bauble around. Resolves. Alright, Stock Up. Find me a fetch land to cast Swords to Plowshares, and we're right back in this. Thundertrap Trainer. Alright, here we go. Stock Up. Sweet. Found mana. I can do stuff. How much mana do I want here? I guess both, because unlocking the red is pretty important too. I'm just going to take the 2 lands. Plows to Plowshares. Cool. Alright, now I can Lurrus next turn with Pyroblast protection. Right now, I would prefer not to get PO'd. It would PO me to get PO'd here. I'd be P'd right-o. They spun their top in the upkeep and looks like they're just passing the turn. No action. Oh, I drew Volcanic Island straight up. That's cool too. Okay, Volcanic Island and Thundertrap Trainer. Or is Lurrus better than Trainer? I don't think it is. Trainer. The triple T, Thundertrap Trainer. They're seeing 1 new card here since when they spun in their last upkeep. We're in there. Lingus, Opal, Lorien, Stock Up. I'm going to take 4th Era Lingus. Opponent is on notice. Next turn, I can Lingus with Pyroblast protection. They flip their top in the end step. Scary. What's that doing? You got a Snapcaster Mage? Filthy little paradoxical outcome. I'm going to counter target spell if it's blue. Pyroblast. If they've got a Flusterstorm, they will win the fight by 1. Oh no. Oh no! Well done. Well navigated. I can pay for 3 of these, and I can't force the last one because Vexing Bauble's still in play. Right, these Flusterstorms have been extremely powerful. My opponent must just be Esper if they're playing Flusterstorm over the other options. Right, Force of Will currently works, but they get to dump out all their stuff, play Vexing Bauble, and then play the important card, whatever it is. Yeah, all their rocks are back. Bauble's back. Top's back. Blooded Strand, 5 cards still in hand. Spinning the top with a fetch land around. They get to see a lot of extra cards here. Basically an 11 card hand right now. They seem to be passing the turn. Okay, I'm getting a turn. I like it. I don't know if it's going to be enough, but I like it. All right, I'm going to play another Tundra and another Thundertrap Trainer. This leaves up 5 mana to Force of Will with the hard way. Trainer, found Stock Up or Force of Will. I'm going to put Force of Will in my hand over the Stock Up because between Lurrus and Fourth Aerolingus, I have engines. What I need to do is not die. A end step fetch, and then it's going to be a top. Blah, blah, blah. That's why this card is banned in Legacy. It is also really powerful, but this play pattern of dirtling forever. Like my opponent's 4 minutes behind their clock from me, and really the only difference is they have top and I don't. Underground Sea, Stock Up. I don't think I can afford to point my precious forces at Stock Ups, even though I'm also losing when Stock Up resolves. Just very difficult spot to navigate here. Yawgmoth's Will, holy smokes. Well, I'm obviously countering that. Or trying to counter it. Maybe they just forgot I can cast Force of Will the hard way. That would be great. Okay, they tapped 3 mana, then untapped it. That feels like maybe they're holding a Force of Negation. Okay, the Yawg got countered. And that's the face-up force. I have a face-down force too, which isn't useful now, but if that was bait, and then their real spell comes next turn, that's something I can tangle with. Okay, time to count. I think I can make 1 horse here and still have a Force of Will. I'm gonna get another Volk. I go red, white, 1. I don't need to make any horses here. It gives all your creatures the ability to make you the monarch. Like I could just do X equals 0, but I have X equals 1 available. So that's what I'm going to do. Spinning top in response. Yeah, them having top has been really good in this slow value situation for them, but me being the monarch will be better. I would rather draw an extra card a turn than get the best of 3 options every turn. Ooh, it's Bauble Bustin' time. That's very interesting. Okay, there's the 3 mana they were going to spend last turn. Well, I think this is worth the Force of Will, even though my shields are down now to their 4-card hand. Another Force. All right, Force pitching Force and Force pitching Sink. My Lingus is now in exile, and my last card in hand is Lurrus versus their 2 cards in hand with top manipulating their draws. Okay, but Lurrus is free to start Mishra's Bobbling. Next big spell wins it. They got a lot of mana in the pool. This looks like a paradoxical outcome. Doing the top trick, tapping your top, then bouncing it in response, lets you draw a card, but then there's nothing to put on top of your deck. Just +1 extra card here. Okay, they wiggled the game to a spot where they have action. The Vexing Bauble's so weird because on the one hand, my deck doesn't want it in play, neither to cast Force of Will nor to deploy my Moxen, but on the other hand, you're in control of whether it's in play or not. That's a card I need more reps with, in general. They're stocking up. More and more cards coming. Maybe it's just very foolish for me to cut Vexing Bauble, and I'll bring it back in for game 3, if both of us care about picking up and putting down our Moxen. And yeah, I guess the parity is manipulable enough. Okay, so they have unlimited turns, but I don't see a win con yet. Ursa Saga's in the graveyard. Lurrus is in exile. I mean, I need you to show me a win con. Sorry, opponent. If they just, like, put a Thundertrap Trainer into play, I'll concede. But they do need to do something here. Alright, cool. I'll at least get the information of what it reveals, and then I'll concede. A PO, alright. With them at 540 on their clock, there was probably a lot of value. Like, if this was the Magic Online most important match of your life tournament, I would make them play it out, and they would probably time out trying to attack me for 20 with that trainer, but that's not where we are. Okay, I did have color problems this game, which Mox Opal helps with, but I also mulliganed a hand with 2 Mox Opals that didn't turn each other on. I think I'm going to go -1 Opal plus Bauble, and that's the change I'm going to make. Okay, I have a turn 1 stock up. I will keep turn 1 stock up with 1 mana floating. If I find that Vexing Bauble that I just boarded back in, that's a pretty nice one. A Pearl, Vault, Stocks, Mana Crypt, Cataxian Probe, 2 Pyroblasts, Merchant Scroll. Merchant Scroll gets me to the outcome. That's really important. And I think I want Probe so I can make a plan here. And this Mana Vault doesn't really work. Oh, maybe I do need Crypt. And probing them to make a plan is so powerful, though. Alright, I'm going to probe them to make a plan. Okay, probe you. This is also a draw that could still be Vexing Bauble. Right, it's a land. We've got Time Vault, Flusterstorm, Mana Crypt, PO, Force of Will. Alright. Passing. Underground Sea, Mana Crypt. Time Vault is allowed to resolve. That card just doesn't do anything until the other piece gets here, and I think I'd rather fight over the other piece than spend a force on that now. I am, of course, willing to believe that is foolish and wrong, but what are you going to do? Okay, I'm going to Merchant Scroll and see if they fluster it. I'm going to grab Ancestral Recall and then pass the turn. Knowing that they have Flusterstorm, I can play around that. A Mana Crypt. Mana Crypt also being in play under Time Vault means that they don't even necessarily win, even if they get the combo off. A Lurrus is in the hand. Going straight for that option. Tundra in my hand. Do I want to start this fight now? If they force, I force back. Then Flusterstorm costs 3, costs 4. Costs 4, yeah. I think I'm going to pass with my options available. Alright, they lost their Crypt Flip. Soul Guide Lantern, sure. That is an engine with Lurrus. You can draw a card for 2 mana every turn. Okay, they're drawing a card now. Fair enough. Okay, they're passing now. Storm is 1. If I Ancestral, it's 2. They force. Yeah, still don't want to fight this fight yet. Black Lotus helps. Scalding Tarn, Black Lotus. And I'll pass. Ooh, they used the Mana Vault. Or the Time Vault. So I have an extra turn now. And let's see how this goes. I will play out my land this time and start with Ancestral. Or I should fetch first, because I don't want to draw lands here. Underground Sea, Volcanic Island. And I will Ancestral myself using the Underground Sea, because there's only one black card in my deck, and I have Black Lotus just in case. A force pitching PO, and then 1, 2, 3 Force of Negation on the hard cast. I can pay for a Flusterstorm, and I still have Force Blue card if I need it. A Flusterstorm targeting Ancestral Recall. Okay, I'll make blue, and I will pay. Alright, white versus red. I have more important red cards in my deck than white ones right now, so I will leave up red. Ancestral, and I found the 1 of black card in my deck. Bauble you. They're drawing Mana Vault. Okay, so they have an untapped Time Vault now. I have Force Blue card plus Misstep. The Flame. They can basically tap to Time Walk whenever they want. I'm not fighting over Mana Vault. That's another win condition. I have to fight over this. Just have to decide what I'm pitching. Mental Misstep could counter Manifold Key by itself. Flame of Anor can blow up Time Vault by itself. I'm gonna keep the Thunder Trap Trainer here, because I could DT for the other Flame if I need to. Okay, we won that fight. There's the bonus turn. Here we go. Bunch of triggers in the upkeep. They're also at 2.5 minutes on their clock, which would definitely be 0 minutes if I didn't concede game 2. Sensei's top. I'm not countering anything that isn't Manifold Key here. Oh no, they have a PO. That's really good. This is some sick Haymaker magic. Pearl, Crypt, they're coming back down. Mana Vault versus Saga. That's a key eventually. Vexing Bauble is annoying, but I can still misstep if I need to. Top, Time Vault, and another outcome. Not targeting the zeros is weird. Like, you're picking up the vault, or the bauble, the Vexing Bauble. I think that's probably a mistake from just playing too fast, because there's 30 seconds on their clock. And we got the can't make it in the chat, GG's. Okay, so that game still had a lot more to it, but opponent ran out of time to figure it out. Learning from this match, Vexing Bauble's really good, even if it does hurt your deck some. On to the final round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Receivables has it at youtube.com/thereceivables.
I'm on the play in the final round, positive record on the line. I will keep this hand that casts Ancestral Recall. We've got a Lurrus mirror, or at least a little bit of a mirror. Ancestraling now will not overdraw me and might hit 2 Moxins, so this is worth doing. Tundra, Ancestral. Going in their upkeep plays around Force of Negation specifically, which they did have. But I was ready to have that fight. And we did not get there, but okay. Pitching Dress Down makes me think that this... What does Dress Down mean? Does that mean their control? I guess a combo deck like Breach might play Dress Down. Multiple baubles come in my way. Look at my deck, look at your deck. Everyone's decks are out. Mana Vault. Black Lotus, this is Lurrus. This is Lurrus Lotus. That's pretty messed up. So actually, if I had not chosen to Ancestral on my turn, the difference between Force of Negation and Force of Will is actually everything here. And they have pulled off an Ancestral Recall of their own by playing 3 Mishra's Baubles on their first turn. Okay, once again, drawing Meticulous Archive. I can't get away from it. Thundertrap Trainer. Trigger Ruby, 2 POs. Interesting. I think I actually want Ruby because that one gets this Opal closer to being on. And what am I doing with a Paradoxical Outcome anyway? They have 5 cards in hand, 1 land, but Lotus in the graveyard with Lurrus. Volcanic Island. Okay. This might be Breach, or it might be the Mirror, but I don't have Dress Down in my deck. All right, Lorien Revealed, hard cast. Easy to do when you have unlimited Black Lotuses. All right, attack. Okay, cool. Keeping the Ruby plan has paid off here a little bit. And all right, I'm going to cast this stock up. They have 6 cards in hand. This thing is probably worth countering. I mean, I know what's in my hand. They don't. And as we've seen from my side multiple times, stock up, you want to counter it, but also, like, maybe it's not what's actually going on. Okay, I'm going to get Lurrus here. That force pitched a Snapcaster Mage. And this turn, if Lurrus attacks, I will block, because I want Thundertrap in the graveyard to use. Lurrus, block, Lotus from the graveyard. Vexing Bauble, pretty good. That protects my Lurrus, though, and makes their Lurrus bad. But, of course, like we've discussed, you can sack this anytime if it's inconvenient for you. What a dumb design this is. Just actually dumb. I think this same card without the sack this draw card clause is still pretty dumb and unfun, but the fact that the controller can just always be in charge of it is so stupid. Alright, so we're POing for 3. That's the line here. That seems kind of desperate and weird. But I guess I don't know. I don't know their life. Especially picking up the Lurrus is really interesting. Because that's the thing my opponent had going that I didn't. Maybe they're just desperate to answer my Lurrus. That would be nice if it's true. Hard to imagine they're that hard up, though, with 8 cards in their hand. Treasure Cruise. Alright. They certainly have a lot of cards. They've used their land drop for the turn. Mana Crypt unlocks the Mana Vault from hand. We hadn't seen that one yet. Crypt into Vault. The Mana Brothers. Vexing Bauble. Well, that one's back. I kind of like that one. Okay, so my Lurrus is going to resolve. Okay, here's Lurrus, and I get a Thundertrap Trainer out of the deal. My hand is stinky. So my opponent's done a good job getting me to that point, at least. I guess I take Mental Misstep here, because it's literally a card I'm allowed to cast. Meticulous Archive. I do not want to draw Underground Sea. Okay, pass the turn. They have 7 cards in hand. One of them's Lurrus. And with their Lotus spent, they can't redeploy the Lotus in their hand until they get another mana source. There it is, Underground Sea from hand. Time Walk. Okay. They're sacking Bauble to draw a card. And here comes Lurrus. I can't stop that. I'm not going to counter Bauble if they replay it, because they're going to go into a Time Walk turn and replay it again. I think Swords to Plowshares or Ancestral Recall are my targets for Mental Misstep. Ugh, Jelly. Trainer, Con Queso. Dig Through Time. And Paradoxical Outcome. Sweet. Again, I'm going to make them win. They're way ahead right now, but the game is not over. Lotus from the graveyard. Tolarian Academy, that's good for 3. Thundertrap Trainer, not kicked. Flusterstorm, now protecting whatever it is they were going to do. I couldn't counter any of the scary spells I've seen anyway. Alright, the full power Paradoxical Outcome, including Lurrus. If they replay Lurrus here, it's a new Lurrus, which means they get another spell. And we know Lotus is in the mix somewhere here. Soul Ring. The cool Future Sight Frame 1. That does look pretty sweet. Lurrus has returned. Black Lotus again. There's one of 2 Thundertrap Trainers we know about. There's the other one. Yeah, they're in that spot now where these Lurrus combo control decks are so fluid, where I'm not necessarily worried about getting comboed out, but there's also very little I can do to catch up when they have Flusterstorm and Force of Will face up and better board position and more mana than me. Demonic Tutor. If there is a GG combo pivot, we're about to find out what it is. Like, I don't know if this is a Breach deck or if they have 4th Aerolingus or what else is going on in here. They could also betray me with my favorite spell and just cast Flame of Anor on my Lurrus right now. Brutal. Alright, that killed my Ruby and my Lurrus. That did tap them out of Flusterstorm for the turn, but I don't think that's going to matter. Well, Paradoxical Outcome is about the best thing I could hope for. However, it will not be enough, because we know they have Force Blue card as well. Still going to send it before Flusterstorm comes down. At least make this cost them 2 cards. Force Pitching Fluster. Okay. Your turn. I'm just going to F6. I'm not even going to Mental Misstep something if I get a target. I just want to see how if they give me any additional information here. Right now they're kicking a Thundertrap Trainer. Ancestral Recall. Okay, I will turn off my auto yields. I have something worth pointing Mental Misstep at. It's face up. They know I had it anyway. Let's just get an interaction out of it, even though I think they have enough cards to win the game. But if they do fight over this, that's a counterspell that they don't have in potential top deck hero mode for me. They're digging over the top to determine if they even care about this. The Flusterstorms from my last 2 opponents have been really good. As my opponents being able to interact 1-for-1 while my deck mostly doesn't do that. I have Pyroblast in the sideboard, but the main deck Flusters, if this is what the metagame looks like, this might make some sense. Obviously Flusterstorm sucks against various shop stacks or like Bug. But if the top of the metagame is all Lurrus Thundertrap mirrors, then Flusterstorm gets a lot of juice. Main deck Pyroblast also would be good. Flame of Anor, taking away the last of my objects. They have a face-up Force, bobbling me, so they know if I'm drawing a useful card or not. Paradoxical Outcome, almost. Alright, I'll cast this for 2. Maybe they'll take pity on me and let me have it. They abraded in response. Okay, that's extra insulting. But it works. And now they just have to attack me. And we learned Abradus in their deck. And this attack is for exactly lethal. They have 5 otters and a cat. Okay, the mirror match, where I'm down a game but up 10 minutes. What do we do with that information? Okay, this is what I did last time. I don't dislike this. Let's get it. Okay, it's my turn for a potentially fast Lurrus. My hand doesn't do anything except Lurrus, and protect it pretty good. I am going to keep, though. A Volcanic Island, Black Lotus, Mox Pearl is my plan. I can cast Force of Negation and Pyroblast this turn. I can get and play Lurrus next turn if I want to send that hard. Delta, Jet, Crypt. Opponent is gaming. Vintage gaming. Okay, they just pass with a bunch of mana up. I guess I will play this Polluted Delta, which can get Meticulous Archive. And I am trying to play Turtle Mode. Get them to flinch before I do. Okay, that's a pass with 5 cards in hand. They didn't play a land or a mana. Archive. Stock up. We like that one. Put that in my hand. Play another Volk. Now how hard do I want to push is a reasonable question. If my opponent is not playing cards, like not mana, not lands, not threats, that means their hand is probably a bunch of answers, or it's one very important spell that they need to resolve. And if I have land drops to hit and I could still put Lurrus in my hand and it doesn't really cost me interaction, then this is a game I can settle into. They have a Lorien for a Volk. That turns on potential Pyroblast from the opponent. 2 Pyroblasts from me. Okay, I will put Lurrus in my hand and start moving towards threatening some real action. I can Pyroblast twice and cast Force of Negation here. Okay, they are just taking damage from their Mana Crypt and passing the turn again. And I can keep hitting land drops. Let's do it, opponent. This is what you want to do? Brainstorm. All right, well, I'm not going to spend a precious interaction spell on Brainstorm, even though that card is obviously very good. They have not fetched since casting that Brainstorm. Does that mean every card is perfect? Yeah, they did not shuffle away their Brainstorm cards. Ataxian Probe. All right, yep, this is what I'm working with. Opponents at 9 from their Crypt and Probes. And they just redrew both Brainstorm cards. So they're looking at 7 perfect cards here for whatever their perceived plan is. They could buy and deploy Lurrus here, and they know there's nothing I can do about it. I have a lot of interaction, but none of it interacts with that card specifically. And that gets the Mishra's Bauble engine set up. Yeah, I can't really have them draw 2 cards a turn to my 1. They fetch to 8. Yeah, this could get nasty, because if they play Lurrus here, I might have to force some negation or Mishra's Bauble out of their graveyard. Yeah, I think that's about to happen. All right, I forgot I had Mox Pearl. I did not need to fetch here. Okay, force some negation that. Lurrus is just a 3/2 right now. And I also have a Lurrus. Come on, good card. Not a good card. Okay, stock up. I hope they don't have Pyroblast here. I can push through any number of forces. Shit, that card's good. Okay, sack for white, play Lurrus. And let's get it out there. Replay Lotus. I'm going to hide this Mox Emerald. It's the only piece of information I have right now. Gotta hope their hand is all garbage or blue cards. All right, they've now matched me on mana. Yeah, a handful of conditional counterspells blown out by Gataxian Probe is certainly a line. Maybe I'm supposed to Pyroblast the Probe. All right, Lotus, Lotus. Some million mana card. Okay, it's a PO. Well, they know I have 2 Pyroblasts in hand, so this is really scary that they're just putting this on the stack. Force of Negation resolves. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Their hand is probably a bunch of answers, and now we're seeing them all. All right, yeah, multiple Force of Negations. Okay, here we go. This is a bad spot for your opponent to draw 6 cards. They found their Urza Saga, which is the worst, ugliest Urza Saga imaginable for the full Rubbins. It is white border and foil. So this game I could have pushed my stock up a little earlier than I did, but the read was that they had a bunch of interaction, which they did actually have. Dig Through Time. Thundertrap Trainer. Finds Mana Vault. Vexing Bauble. That one again. They're cracking it immediately. Oh, changed their mind. They had it tapped. Now it looks like they're casting Paradoxical Outcome. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Rain it down on me. I think the opponent's 4.5 minutes on the clock to my 18.25 is a sign of how much more they did this match than I did. It's not like they were wasting time or thinking too much or farting around. They've just literally taken that many more game actions than I have. They've got a kicked Thundertrap Trainer, finds Demonic Tutor, and Flame Vanor. Demonic Tutor, Time Walk, bobbling me, and the other bauble is back. They have to discard a bunch of cards, almost as many as they get to keep. Got them. Moral victory. Discarded Force of Will and Force of Negation. That's how little they think of me right now. And guess what? They're right. Also, with these Urza Saga constructs coming down, they are so big that even just waiting 2 minutes, if my opponent does a lot of farting around, then okay. Time Walk with the construct will be plenty. The fact that I'm playing 2 hoping my opponent times out is also just a bad sign when we're doing real tournament practice. Obviously, this wouldn't count as a win for any real useful reasons. There's the Flame and/or Ancestral Recall to rub it in. It does feel like these Lurrus mirrors come down to who can find a hole to push through first, just who finds the gap and does the dumb, stupid-ass thing. And there's a lot of jockeying up to the point of that. Like, all of these Mishra's Baubles in my deck don't seem like they ever had a home or a chance to be useful to me. Like, every matchup I played didn't come down to Lurrus nickel and diming. It was just some giant hole was kicked open or it wasn't. And my opponent will successfully slay me with the Construct token with under a minute on their clock, but plenty of time. 47 seconds to 18:14. Okay, this was a extremely educational outing. Extremely, I don't want to say humbling, because it's not like I was bragging that I invented the best deck. I didn't invent this deck. I don't know. It's just done well in some recent tournaments, and it was pretty cool last time I played it. But the construction of the deck where multiple Lurrus PO mirror match opponents had main deck things like Flusterstorm or Pyroblast that interact way better than just the forces that I play. They were able to find good exchanges where I was not able to find good exchanges. The complete lack of sideboard respect for a deck like Hollowvine was apparent as well. And frankly, we were not great against Jewel Shops either. Though it is, of course, hard to tell with Jewel Shops, like, was getting forced twice in the first 2 turns, and I resolve 2 stock-ups, and I take the initiative and put lethal on the board, and then lose on turn 3 anyway? Was that just getting vintage? Did they spike the Black Lotus they needed to break out after stopping their first 2 waves? I'm not sure. Or was that just like, was that reasonable to expect, or is that the top 5% of outcomes for them? I don't know. One thing that's very clear in this vintage format is that Vexing Bauble is nutso. Just having one of these in my main deck gave me a lot of game against Hollowvine that I otherwise basically didn't have any respect for in my deck construction. There's no Tabernacles, no Containment Priest, nothing like that. And then my opponents having Vexing Bauble when I don't, and me having Vexing Bauble when they don't, completely changes who can develop what and who can fight over what. What an abominable design. Like, seriously, this... I don't know who thought this was important or a good idea or useful, and then who decided, if we are going to do this, can the controller sacrifice it at will? What a freaking mess. But we're in Vintage now, and we don't ban cards in Vintage. So one of these, alongside one Urza Saga to find it, is going to be part of the format forever. And that's something we got to navigate. The Flame of Anor, awesome. Just playing this card feels so good. Although I feel like I barely got off the ground at all this league, we saw multiple opponents going well off the ground, and Flame was involved in their chains. A lot of the time they would like PO for 4 or 5, but it was the Flame of Anor killing my Lurrus that really shut the door on me. I have definitely come back to earth. I was like, if NYSE was this morning, I would have registered this. But after this league, I at least have things to think about in how to construct it, how to use my sideboard slots, even if I still like the archetype overall. And that will be the work I have to do. I'm recording this in early May. By the time you see it, NYSE will be a few weeks away. But this is the work I have to do over the next 6 weeks. Or, of course, I can find something that beats this, which would be even more fun. I'm going to leave that here. Anonymous Patreon subscriber, thanks for supporting the channel by giving me this league to play. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.